The movie begins with unsettling camcorder footage showing a family of 4 hanging from tree, ropes tightly wrapped around their necks. Shortly after, a mysterious force uses a saw to cut the branch, acting as a counterweight, causing the entire family to be violently lifted and strangled. The story then jumps forward a few months, where we are introduced to a man named Ellison, who is relocating to a new house with his wife Tracy and their 2 children. As they bring their belongings inside, Ellison sees his daughter Ashley drawing on the walls and asks her to help, but she refuses and says she is unhappy about moving. She talks about how much she misses her old school, but is told they had to move here because of his upcoming book. He comforts her by promising that once the book is finished, they will be able to leave. Later, Ellison is visited by the local sheriff, who is clearly unhappy about the family moving into the house. It is revealed that something horrific happened in this home before, and the previous family's young daughter is still missing. The sheriff also criticizes Ellison's work as a true crime writer, pointing out that many of his past conclusions were wrong. He is aware that Ellison has come to research another case and warns him to go back where he came from. But Ellison refuses to leave, since his career is failing and he desperately needs a successful book. After the sheriff departs, Tracy asks why he came, and Ellison lies by saying he was just a supporter. She is not convinced and questions whether he is actually working on another case. Ellison immediately denies it and walks into the kitchen. From the kitchen window, he looks outside at a tree, realizing it is the same one from the opening scene where the entire family was killed. While exploring the house later, Ellison discovers a box in the attic. He is shocked when a large scorpion appears inside, which he quickly kills. Inside the box, he finds a projector and several reels of 8mm film. The tapes look like normal family recordings, but they all come from different eras. That night, after his family has gone to bed, he goes to his office and reviews the case files related to the house. He then sets up the projector and starts watching the films he found upstairs. Ellison begins with a tape labeled Family Hanging Out 11, which shows the Stevenson family who previously lived there. At first, the footage seems harmless, showing them playing and spending time outside, but it suddenly turns dark when they are seen hanging from the tree. The disturbing images shake Ellison deeply, and he takes a drink of whiskey. He rewinds the footage, trying to understand who filmed it and for what purpose. Next, Ellison plays another tape called Barbex 79. This video initially shows a family enjoying a fishing trip by the river, but then it abruptly changes to them bound and gagged inside a car. Someone then sets the vehicle on fire, burning everyone alive. Terrified by what he has seen, Ellison thinks about quitting and calling the police, but then he notices copies of his only successful book, Kentucky Blood, published 10 years ago. Realizing how badly he needs to rebuild his career, he cancels the call and continues his investigation. After that, Ellison gets ready to watch another tape titled Pool Party 66, but strange sounds suddenly start coming from around the house. He assumes his daughter might be sleepwalking and goes to her room, only to find her peacefully asleep. The noises continue, so he follows them into the hallway, where he finds a strange box. Before Ellison can understand what is happening, his son Trevor suddenly bursts out of the box, half naked and screaming loudly. Ellison quickly rushes him outside, where Tracy also arrives. Trevor eventually calms down, and it is revealed he used to suffer from similar nightmares before they suddenly stopped a long time ago. The next morning, the children leave for their first day at school, and Tracy heads off to work. Once the house is completely empty, Ellison goes back to his study and starts playing the tape titled Pool Party 66. The video first shows a different family enjoying a cheerful day by the swimming pool, having a good time together. But as with the earlier recordings, the mood suddenly shifts, and the family is later seen bound to sunbeds beside the pool. Ellison then spots a shadowy, eerie figure fixed on the camera. He stops the tape and leans in closer to get a better look, but suddenly the film reel catches fire without warning. With part of the footage now ruined, Ellison searches online for ways to fix 8mm film. After converting the footage into a digital version, he realizes the figure's face is no longer visible. At that moment, loud sounds from the living room break his focus. Tracy and Trevor have come back home and are in the middle of an argument. Tracy tells Ellison that their son Drew drew a picture of 4 people hanging from a tree on the classroom whiteboard using a permanent marker. She then confronts Ellison, blaming his disturbing writing for influencing the children. Ellison responds by saying that when terrible things happen to innocent people, he feels it is his duty to tell their stories. But Tracy grows frustrated and storms off. Later that night, Ellison selects another film labeled Sleepy Time, Night 98, where he watches a family tied up and silenced in their beds. The attacker brutally kills them with a knife, showing no mercy even toward the children. Ellison then spots a strange symbol marked on a wall and prints it out to study it further. He adjusts the video contrast and manages to identify the location as St. Louis. After that, Ellison searches online for the St. Louis killings and finds news reports from 1998. He discovers that a married couple and their youngest child were murdered, while their 13-year-old son vanished without a trace. Just then, the electricity suddenly cuts out, and unsettling noises begin coming from the attic. Ellison could easily ignore it and go to bed, but instead he chooses to face it. Using his camera light, he slowly makes his way up to the attic and notices a cardboard lid shifting slightly on its own. Carefully lifting it, a snake suddenly darts out and disappears into the darkness. While examining the lid, he finds several children's drawings showing the different killings seen in the tapes. What shocks him most is that every drawing includes a dark figure labeled Mr. Boogie standing beside the victims. Ellison takes photos of all the drawings and tries to leave, but suddenly part of the attic floor gives way and he falls, injuring his leg badly. After some time, paramedics arrive and treat his injury, and once they leave, a deputy questions him about what happened. Ellison explains that he heard strange noises, but the deputy says the entire area lost power, and it was likely just frightened animals. During the conversation, the deputy admits he is a fan of Ellison's writing and asks him to sign a copy of Kentucky Blood. Ellison agrees and leads him to his office to get the book. While there, the deputy offers to assist with the investigation in exchange for a mention in Ellison's next book. Ellison quickly accepts and asks him to trace the addresses linked to the murders shown in the films. After the deputy leaves, Ellison compares the attic drawings with the ghostly figure he saw in the pool footage. He then re-examines all the cases and is stunned to realize that Mr. Boogie appears in every single tape, always hidden in the background watching the victims. The following day, the deputy calls Ellison with new information about a 1979 murder in California where the Martinez family was burned inside their car and their 9-year-old son disappeared. He also confirms the exact location of the St. Louis killings involving the Miller family. Ellison is shocked when he realizes the Stevenson family who died in his house had previously lived in the Miller family's home. Right then, he notices ghostly children's hands emerging, trying to pull him back down into the attic where he fell. Later that night, he suddenly wakes up after hearing strange sounds and steps out to check what is going on. Ellison goes back into his study and is horrified to see the projector running the footage of the Stevenson family's death. He immediately shuts it off and glances toward the backyard, where he briefly sees the presence of Mr. Boogie. Although fear takes hold of him, Ellison still goes outside to make sure no intruder is there. Out of nowhere, a wild, aggressive dog shows up and lunges at him. Just as Ellison gets ready to defend himself, 5 ghostly children appear behind him, and the dog becomes terrified and quickly runs away. The following day, the deputy comes back and delivers the case files Ellison had requested. Ellison brings him to his office and finally explains what he has uncovered so far. Together, they conclude that because the murders span back to the 1960s, the killer would now have to be extremely old. They also realize each crime happened in different cities, but every case shares one pattern. A child disappears after every family massacre. It is also revealed that the victims were drugged before they were killed. Ellison then highlights the strange demonic symbol that appears in every recording. Seeing this, the deputy mentions a man named Professor Jonas, who helps law enforcement with cases involving ancient symbols and unsolved mysteries. After the deputy leaves, Ellison plays another tape labeled Lawn Work 86. The video begins with a family peacefully watching television together, appearing completely normal at first. But soon the scene shifts in a disturbing way as a lawnmower is shown being operated by someone. The violent imagery deeply unsettles Ellison, so he decides to contact Professor Jonas for guidance. The professor explains that the symbol Ellison sent is connected to the worship of an ancient pagan entity called Bagul, who feeds on children. He further reveals that this being first kills the children's families before dragging the kids into its own dark realm to consume their souls. After ending the call, Ellison goes to bed, but at exactly 3 a.m., he wakes up to the sound of a projector running. He rushes to his office, but there is no one inside. Taking a baseball bat with him, he starts searching the house carefully. Suddenly, he notices the spirits of the missing children playing behind him like they are hiding and seeking. Ellison continues checking every corner, while it becomes clear that the children are trying to frighten him. He even checks Ashley's room briefly before closing the door again. But in that moment, we see her eyes are actually fixed on Stephanie, the missing daughter of the Stevenson family. Meanwhile, Ellison grows exhausted from searching and eventually falls asleep on the couch. The next morning, he hears Tracy shouting at their daughter for drawing on the walls outside her room. The child explains that Stephanie refused to let her paint inside because the room once belonged to her brother. Confused, Tracy questions her, and Ashley then reveals that Stephanie is actually the missing Stevenson girl her father is investigating for his book. Tracy is completely stunned, unable to accept that her husband has hidden the truth from her again. She angrily blames Ellison for moving their family into a house tied to brutal murders. She pleads with him to return to their old home, only wanting a peaceful and safe life for them. But Ellison stays firm, saying he must finish the book to save his career and promises they will leave immediately if anything gets worse. Disheartened, Tracy turns away and leaves the room. The scene then shifts to night, where Ellison is asleep and a figure is seen shining a flashlight directly onto him. Soon after, he wakes up again, unsettled by the sound of the projector still running. He goes into his office, but realizes the projector is gone. Following the noise, Ellison ends up at the attic entrance, where the stairs are already pulled open. To his horror, he sees the 5 missing children sitting upstairs, calmly playing a tape on the projector. The children silently gesture for him to stay quiet, and then Mr. Boogie suddenly appears, shocking him so badly that he tumbles down the stairs. The projector and film reels also crash down from the attic. Fed up with everything, the writer carries the projector and reels outside and sets them on fire. His wife has just woken up, and Ellison admits she was right and that they need to leave the house right away. After burning everything, the couple quickly goes back inside, gathers the kids, and escapes the house. Trevor worries about leaving their things behind, but Ellison tells him they will send movers the next morning. By the following day, the family has moved all their belongings back to their old home. Ellison finally believes they are safe again, and when the deputy calls him, he chooses not to answer. Later that evening, he discovers an email from Professor Jonas containing scanned images of ancient drawings connected to Bagul. The professor explains that many of these drawings were partially destroyed by early Christians who believed the images could serve as a doorway for Bagul to enter the human world. It is revealed that these images can possess anyone who looks at them, with children being the most vulnerable. Hearing this, Ellison nervously asks whether destroying or deleting the images would stop the demon. The professor sounds unsure and confused by the question. Disturbed, Ellison quickly ends the call. He then goes upstairs to store some items, but is shocked to find a box waiting there. Inside it, he discovers an envelope filled with more tapes labeled extended cut endings. Even though he is frightened, he still feels compelled to understand the truth. Ellison sets up the projector once. Again, at that moment, the deputy calls him again, and this time Ellison answers. The deputy warns him that moving again was a serious mistake. He explains that he has uncovered a disturbing pattern in these murders. Each family in the series once lived in the same house where the previous family was killed, and they were murdered only after relocating. This means Ellison's family has unknowingly stepped into the same cycle and could be next. Hearing this, Ellison is left completely stunned and ends the call without a word. He begins watching the extended footage and uncovers something deeply horrifying that shakes him to his core. In every case, the missing children appear at the end of the recordings. Ellison comes to the terrifying realization that those children were the ones filming everything and killing their own families under Bagul's influence. Before he can fully process it, dizziness suddenly overtakes him. He notices a note under his coffee cup that reads, "Good night, Daddy," before losing consciousness. We then see Ashley quietly watching, revealing that she has drugged him, just like the other children controlled by Bagul. In the next moment, Ellison wakes up to a nightmare. He, his wife, and his son are all tied up with tape, sealing their mouths. Moments later, Ashley steps forward, holding an axe along with the same 8mm camera. She starts filming them and tells her father she will make him famous again before brutally killing him with the axe. After wiping out her entire family, Ashley plays back the horrifying recording. The footage shows the house completely covered in blood, while the 5 missing children from earlier cases appear once again. Meanwhile, Ashley sketches a disturbing drawing of how she dismembered her own family. The other children stand in the hallway, watching her silently, but once they notice Bagul behind her, they flee in panic. The dark entity then lifts Ashley and drags her into the film itself. The next morning, the attic box is seen again, now containing a newly labeled film reel. Okay guys, thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.